Hey guys! In this video, I'm going to tell you 10 things that I wish I knew before my freshman year of college. For those who don't know, I have just completed my freshman year and I am home for the summer now. And I watched so many videos like this on YouTube before going to college because I was so excited, especially the summer after my senior year, after I'd graduated, and I really loved everything that people had to say. And these are just a couple of things that I've either heard from other people that held true through my entire freshman year, or things that I learned along the way. My first tip isn't super academic, but it's to totally get a little phone wallet. They have all sorts of like silicone little phone pockets that you can easily fit your student ID, like a driver's license if you need it, and like maybe a debit card or something like that. Like I only keep like 2 or 3 cards in my little phone pocket that I have, and honestly, it's so easy to find these, especially as you start going for orientation and resource fairs and things like that for college, and you're going to get so many free ones. Like I have these just like sitting around on my desk right now because I don't really know what to do with them, but they're very useful and super convenient to have, especially if you need your student ID to swipe into like your dorm or to swipe into like getting meals at the dining hall or things like that. It's very convenient to just have it. I decided not to use one like starting my freshman year, and within like 2 weeks I went and got one to put on my phone case because it felt absolutely necessary, and the convenience factor of having everything you need like in your phone, which you have with you anyways, is so valuable. This second thing that I wish I knew before starting my freshman year is that you absolutely can and maybe should wait to buy your textbooks and classroom materials and workbooks and things like that until you've at least had your first day of class. This is something that I had heard kind of from people before, but I was kind of stressed out about like not showing up to class my first day and not being prepared with all the materials I needed. So I went ahead and bought all my things, but I ended up not needing like a textbook that I had spent money on renting for the semester, and kind of regretted not sort of waiting to see how the class was going to go or talking to people who had already taken the class about like what they used and what they thought. And so just in order to like kind of save yourself some money and some headache of having extra books that you don't really need, definitely wait until you have the syllabus in front of you or the professor tells you exactly what you're going to use from that like materials like list or whatever. So that's something that I absolutely will do for the rest of my time, even if I show up to class without the textbook on the first day. The third thing that I wish I knew, I really wish I knew, because I was feeling sort of, I don't know, sort of lost in a way. And the first like 2 weeks of school, I was meeting a ton of people, but I didn't really feel like I clicked with anyone immediately, and it really took a little bit of time before I found those friends that truly have my back, that I vibe with like 100% of the time, and I know have my back for everything. And so that's something that I wish I knew, that it's okay and very normal to not find your people, if you will, right away. And the thing is like once you find those people, make sure you take them and invest your time, invest your energy into these people, because you are going to get that right back. I've found that the people I've met and the friends that I have made over my freshman year have really defined my experience, because they're the people I share my time with, my life with, and they're the people that will be there for me whenever I have like challenges. Like I got super sick at one point in the semester, and like my roommate was there for me, and my hallmate was there for me. My really good friends from different clubs and organizations I'm in, they were all like willing to help me, and they were concerned for me. And that's something that is so important to have when you are you're having your first time like away from home, and like these people sort of become your family away from your family, if you will. The fourth thing that I wish I knew before freshman year is that it is really important and very okay to value your sleep. I have learned this through high school actually, and that's part of a couple of videos I've done before about how important sleep is and making sure you get the same amount of time every night and going to bed at a certain hour and, having a sort of regular sleep schedule. In college, I found it's sort of very difficult to maintain that sleep cycle, especially if you have classes that start at different times every morning. And, if someone texts at like midnight and is like, let's hang out, and if I'm up studying, I'm like, yeah, dude, let's study together. And so honestly, I found that most people tend to stay up a lot later in college just because classes will sometimes start later. And so I found myself in the midst of trying to manage a social life, my classes. I was taking the maximum amount of credits my first semester, and trying to sort of balance everything that I was doing. The thing that got sacrificed the most was sleep, and that's something that I wish I knew that I shouldn't have done because I ended up overworking myself and sort of just having chronic sleep deprivation for 2 months at a time. And then if I came home for Thanksgiving break, I crashed and slept till 3 p.m. on one of the days because I just could not catch up with my sleep. So that's something that I definitely figured out and learned how to manage a little bit better for my second semester. But it's just a little reminder that sleep is just so important for your health and your well-being overall, and don't sacrifice it once you're in college. The fifth thing that I wish I knew before freshman year is something that I had heard from all of my older friends, from parents, from teachers, and I somehow believed that it wouldn't apply to me, and that is that you will receive grades that might be lower than the grades that you received in high school or that you're used to getting, and that is perfectly okay and it's perfectly normal. I had heard this and thought that it wouldn't really apply to me because I was so comfortable and confident in my ability to know how to study, and I just always had excelled in my classes in high school, middle school, whatever. And so just know that this is totally okay. But if this does happen to you and you get this one class that is just such a struggle, don't give up. Make sure you're really working through and really trying your best to pull up that grade and to still do your best to learn all the material all the way through your final exam for the class. Just make sure that you take it away as a positive experience rather than a failure on your part, because if you're getting straight A's in college and it's not super hard for you, you might be at a school that's just not the academic rigor that you should be at, because otherwise you don't really learn much if you're getting everything right on the first time. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's sort of the mindset I've taken to it is I'm in the right place because it's challenging me and pushing me to do better. The sixth thing that not that I wish I knew, but more that I'm glad I learned along the way of my freshman year, is that it's super fun and so rewarding to be spontaneous with your friends. I honestly am definitely more of a planner. I prefer to know exactly what I'm doing, prior to doing it, if my bullet journal videos and planner videos aren't already an indicator to that. But honestly, I think some of the things that are most memorable about my freshman year were things that I decided the night before, or the moment of, and it's things doing a sunrise hike with my friends, to go ask that person to get coffee with me that I don't know very well, to just, if someone's hey, anyone want to get a smoothie right now? And if I'm just not really doing much, I'll go. And honestly, those are the things that I'm going to remember the most, rather than spending another night in studying or something like that. I really think that because since you're surrounded by people and you're surrounded by your friends, there's always something happening. And so it's totally okay for you to sort of be you know what? I'm not super busy right now. I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z. And that's honestly the most fun. And I'm so glad that I sort of have shifted away from having everything planned out. The seventh thing that I wish I knew before starting my freshman year is that you should really, really take advantage of the environment you are in. And what I mean by that is college, I think, is a very unique experience to have. It's a very unique surroundings where you are constantly immersed in a culture that has people that are so talented in almost anything, singing, dancing, acting, athletes, people who do like improv comedy, like go to shows and go to recitals and showcases and go to, you know, basketball games or football games or whatever sports that your school has. Like go and be a part of those sorts of things, because school spirit is super fun when everyone that is at that university has already chosen to be there. And honestly, like I just feel like I'm never going to be surrounded by this much like culture again. And so that's something that I really, really wish that I knew right away. And going sort of along that same vein, it's also so important to just get involved and stay engaged with the things that you have on your college campus. Like I'm in band, and that's something that I've continued throughout my time in college, and that's been so rewarding for me, both in the sense that I find the people that I absolutely love and care about through the things that I also, you know, enjoy doing. And so just really take advantage of the things that are around you, because you're really not in college for that long. Like 4 years goes by really quick, and I only can say that because my first year went by so fast. The eighth thing that I wish I knew is sort of silly, I guess, but really like make sure first of all you get a raincoat or an umbrella. I think raincoats are better because umbrellas, like it'll just like the water will just drop off your umbrella like onto your backpack if your backpack's kind of big. So I prefer raincoats, but if you have one, which I did, like I bought one or I had one I guess before going to college, make sure you check the weather every single morning, especially like towards like springtime or whatever. Like check the weather every morning. And don't let yourself be that person that gets caught in the rain, because once I leave my dorm for the morning, I'm usually like out for the day, like doing things. And so I just have definitely been caught in the rain like once or twice. And after that, I've really made it a point to check the weather, especially because I'm walking most places or relying on the bus or whatever, rather than, you know, driving around and having the comfort of my car. So definitely do that if you are going to be a freshman. The ninth thing that I wish I knew before my freshman year is something I'm really still working on into my sophomore year, and that is that it is okay to say no to things in order to focus on your academics and on studying. And the reason I say this is just because, like I said before, there's always so many things happening, and especially after you really find those friends that you love being around, the odds are is that like someone is going to be available to do something at any given moment, because everyone's sort of on a different schedule. No one has like a 9 to 3 class schedule every single day. Like some people will have like a break, be like, who wants to get lunch like at 12 because I'm done with class at like 11:30, things like that. And I think it's been really hard to figure out the balance between being selfish with your time and being selfless with your time. And I think that it's just so important to do a little bit of both. Make sure you're giving your time to your friends, but also if you really have an exam that you need to study for, like it is okay to say like, no guys, I can't hang. I need to do X, Y, and Z. And the thing is that everyone does the same thing and everyone needs to focus on their things. And so that's something that has become somewhat of like, not a conflict, but something I've had to focus my energy more on, rather than in high school where it's like my academics are very separate from my like social life, I guess. So that's something that's really important to learn as well. And finally, the 10th thing that I wish I knew before my freshman year aren't really like pieces of advice, but rather things to just be aware of. And obviously this can vary depending on like what kind of school you go to, but at least for me, 2 things that are sort of stressful that I didn't anticipate as being stressful, in addition to like the normal stress you have around schoolwork, is that class enrollment and scheduling is super stressful, and so are decisions made on like housing, because at least for me, like we had to make decisions on where and who we're living with. I think like people were starting to sign like leases and stuff like for the next year in like last September and October, and so it's pretty early. And for some people, that's before they meet like the people that they're really, really good friends with. So that's kind of stressful. And then class enrollment and like scheduling for the next semester is also super stressful, just because like sometimes the site crashes, or like everyone's trying to get into this one class and you're like number 50 on the wait list. And obviously that will depend very, very much on like what kind of school you go to. But those are two things I just didn't anticipate, so I thought I'd mention it just in case. But I really, really hope that you found some of this helpful for those that are going to college soon. If you're still in high school, then you just know you have so many awesome things to look forward to in college. So thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!